If you're giving, people might think you have a hidden agenda. But give anyway. Be happy anyway. Be kind anyway. Because in the end, it was never about them anyway. It was about you doing what you knew was right.
Don't you think that they've missed the real gift?
They have.
Yeah, so you have to feel sad for them.
You do. And then you have to look at, just from a purely practical standpoint, you have to look at your resources. And if you're running low on resources too, because we have to maintain our practical life in the material world. So if you've lent your tools out to someone, 1 or 2 times, and the tools keep getting taken inside and not returned, you have to look at that. And like I said, you don't ever want to give if you have any sort of resentment. As the resentment starts, you stop giving. But that's not to say that you can't still make a difference for people. And sometimes you might have a giving nature, but you feel like it's taken advantage of. And then there's another opportunity that presents itself. That maybe you could use that more. And you simply say to this person, I want to continue to help you, but I recognize that there's an even greater need over here. And because I have the potential to help, I'm going to help this person now. But let me set you with a list of resources that might be able to help you further. There's always ways to do it. And that's where you have to be creative in how you do it. You have to think outside the box. Because we don't want to be taken for fools, and we don't want to be used, we don't want to be exploited. So as long as you can feel good about what you're doing, and not be resentful, and you can give out the love and kindness that you give.
You have to be careful not to enable them.
But you have to be careful. Oh, yes, and that's, definitely.
Because if you enable them to fail,
you're not helping anyone. But I think that also ties into staying involved with the person, if you can. I think, if not to get on the subject of government, but government, government assistance. Sometimes that can be enabling because it's a gift, and then they walk away in front of their backs and they're like, oh, do what you do. But the only way to really help people, especially if they're in a bad situation, government assistance and money just isn't helping, is to get in there, show them that you care, talk to them, come to solutions, come to problems, and that requires time and trust you need to have. But that's a way, to help people where it's not enabling, it might actually change your life. And we can get into all the facets of how, when, why, who, when to stop, but the bottom line is if you go to sleep and you center your thoughts on God, and that's the third time I said it, you center your thoughts on God, and you think about the people that you can reach, you wake up with the realizations. Because that enabling point is a really good one.
However, what you touched on earlier, there's a very important thing that we can, with our love and kindness and generosity of spirit, and it's a genuine, you may not be able to monetarily or whatever, however, giving of one's love and spirit to another person helps. That's very important because we are spiritual beings. To me, that's
more than money or
right. That's the biggest gift,
is
showing genuine love.
Exactly.
Because God says we must love one another because He created us all. And you said it without saying it earlier. Our souls, God, there's no color, there's no nationality, there's no creed, there's nothing. All souls are equal. So you said that without saying that. You said that. But the greatest gift, I know, I've had so many people give me just their love. And there's, I'm saying prayers that it will boost spiritually. And then I'm like you, at night is my favorite time to pray and read is when I'm in bed. And it's the God's honest truth. I put something away and couldn't find it. You know how you put it in a special spot so you I started praying. I said, God, I don't know where it is. And then I let it go. And I was reading another prayer. There it is. Just like that. Because I let it go. But it's so funny. The power of prayer mostly is invisible. However, I've had visual aids from the power of prayer just recently. The funniest story is, my most precious, prized possession that I own in my life are 2 pieces of marble from the Universal House of Justice before it was built. I loaned it to a friend, just got it back a month ago, and I could not remember where I put them. Here I'm going, oh God, please forgive me. Here, I wanted it back, and I don't even know where they are, and they were safe in her possession. That's what I prayed for, and I remembered where they were. This precious gift. You know, it was just, it's in my will. These are my most favorite possessions, are these 2 pieces of marble before they built the Universal House of Justice. A friend of mine went on pilgrimage, and the pilgrims received these little, I brought them home, put them in a safe place, and didn't know where they were.
I do that. So I won't lose it.
Yeah. But I said, I was saying a prayer for something else, and it just flashed. This is where they are. Just like that. Because I couldn't find them. I had to be guided where I put them. It was a real test.
Let's see, Troy. By Troy.
I'm Marlene. I'm a pie.
It took me a second to think about, when someone did something nice for me. But the biggest thing that popped into my head was when I was a little kid, the 2 teachers in the resource class I had trouble learning. And everyone knows how bad I am with names. But Mrs. Warner and Mrs. Martin.
I remember their names.
Miss Warner and Mr. Martin. They gave me the love, and my mom was really close with me. I'm sure no one ever has. But those 2 women were able, because of their schooling, their education, how to work with a troubled boy. And I never forgot those 2 ladies. And like you said, those seeds that they planted, even though I got involved in alcohol and drugs and went to jail, those seeds, that kindness was always instilled in me. It had never left. And then my family of AA, there's someone that guided me and showed me love, that had nothing to do with me. But because they had the same disease and they grew spiritually, they showed me love and helped guide me. And then I found my Baha'i family.
Oh, yeah.
And even more. And being around like-minded people. That's key for me, because I'm human and I'm selfish and I get stuck in self. But to be around, when I do go to my meetings and I go to my Baha'i family, I get uplifted. And it makes me want to be a better person, and it makes me think of God and think more in the spirit than physical.
I'm glad you said that, because I run into the misconception a lot, because I'm so active in the community. I run into in the Pasco Baha'i community. I run into the misconception a lot with people, and sometimes non-religious people can be just as judgmental as the stigma that's attached to religious people. Because I do run into the opinion sometimes that, you must be so involved in this religion because you need it, because it helps to make you feel like a better person, all of these. But really, it's just whether we're talking about Baha'i scripture, Baha'i writings or not, whether we're doing anything that has any religious meaning. Being around the people, the friends of the faith, not just the Baha'is, but the friends of the faith, anyone that comes to support the cause of uplifting humanity, you get the feeling, and again, it's something that you can't see, and it's uplifting.
It is.
And that really, I think, is the main reason people come together. And that's actually one thing that I wanted to talk about that I did not mention it briefly, because I don't know how long you guys want. But I'll stay all night. But the other thing I wanted to mention was, because we were talking about loving kindness, is that love is the magnetism, and it's the glue that binds human hearts. And whenever you're exhibiting loving kindness to someone, you're pulling them to you. They're going to be magnetically drawn to you. And it's not a physical draw. It's not a physical attraction. They're drawn to the feeling that they get when they're around you. And it's not something you do on purpose, and it's not something that you do intentional. But when you feel that enkindlement of love for humanity, really just wanting people to succeed and wanting to see them succeed and progress and be happy just for the sake of them doing it for themselves, you really do attract people to you. And that love that binds together in hearts is carried into, and even into the afterlife, where Baha'u'llah says that we'll be reunited with souls that we loved, and even some that we did not know we loved. and I have to assume that there's probably all the Baha'is around the world, and friends and their family members and everyone that they loved. I mean, it really is this big glue. And Abdu'l-Baha also talks about love and people as being created diversely. They're created differently. Their bodies are created differently because they're like sediment. And love and spiritual conversation and religion, not just the Baha'i religion, but religion, the belief in God, and the unity of religion, is like the water that sifts through and it settles and de-energizes and calms the sediment. So we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to change a little bit. Because that's how you grow. You can't grow if you're just hanging around people that you agree with all the time. You're supposed to interact with people who are different. You're supposed to interact with people who rub you the wrong way. Because that's how you grow as a person. And that sediment's supposed to be there. But it's through that love and that unifying that it settles and it stays calm. And that's powerful.
Well, see, that enables for the unity with diversity.
Yes.
Because if we just look at all of us sitting right here, we have one common bond, we're all here. However, we're so diverse, when you go to the visible.
Mm-hmm.
However, what we all possess is that soul.
Mm-hmm.
And we possess free will in this world. We can choose to be attracted to God and obey the spiritual laws of God that have been handed down to us, or we can choose to not to.
It's true.
When I became a Baha'i, I finally knew what my purpose was in this world, was to prepare my soul for the next world. Other than that, it's get married, you have children, you go to work, you make the bed, you mop the floor. Is that all there is? No, it's to prepare.
I agree with her. That's exactly what I feel. I did all this stuff in my life, all this stuff.
That's all for it.
And when I got in here, it was preparing myself for another journey.
Yes. And that's
Another journey.
But
But,
ultimate journey
the
is the
ultimate-
soul that goes on eternity. It says that in all the Holy
Well,
Scriptures.
this is it though. This is it. This is part of that.
Exactly.
This is
Yeah,
part of it.
you have to.
And like attracts like.
Mhm.
That's why we are here, is because we're like magnetic towards each other,
And what's amazing is that there's opportunities, how Allah tells us opportunities for the soul to evolve, even in the next world, through prayer of people in this world praying for like a dead grandmother. So it's my grandma passed away, so I'll use her as an example. So praying for her or doing charity